Hey folks, Jay Green 302. I don't know what the hell I'm going to call this. Miscellaneous points and updates number 8. Good enough for me. So I just got done doing the analysis video, or whatever I'm going to call it, talking about how to think about things. This is how I find these little gems of problems that I don't find anybody else addressing, which makes this for a very good segue, by the way. So let's get started. Point in case. I've read and heard from a lot of people, well, you need bleach, you need bleach, you need bleach. You store water, you can purify water, you can do this, this, and this. Well, I sat down and I said, okay, bleach. Well, that's a household item. We all have it. Okay, what's the big deal? It's a pretty easy item to prep. Well, guess what? Apparently, bleach will only hold for so long. Do you remember the last time you bought your bleach? We've got 2 bleach bottles upstairs, and I couldn't tell you when that stuff was bought. But apparently it goes bad. And so I thought about this, and I was sitting here going, okay, in real world terms, as I'm doing my job and going about my life, boom, something bad happens. At this point, I've got to watch every penny. I really don't want to be surprised with a bunch of new expenses, because things are then also going bad. So I like to have redundancy, backup, and something a little more reliable. So I'm thinking about bleach, and I'm sitting there going, okay, if bleach goes bad, I don't want to be putting it in my drinking water. And I was sitting there thinking about it. And so guess what? They make bleach tablets, not in liquid form, powdered form. Now I can store 3 or 4 of these bad boys, and I've always got bleach. I've always got bleach. I don't have to worry about bleach going bad. And the nice thing about bleach, not only can it help you store your water, but rinse water. And this is why I like the tablets. Break off a small piece. Get a little bit of bleach in the water. Now, when you wipe your hands, you have a desanitizing. Kills all the germs. You can wipe counters down. You can clean your dishes and then do the rinse. Now that it's been through a bleach wash, then a basic wash, illness, sickness, disease, bacteria, the benefits of just having that and making sure that you have it by getting it in this form as a stock item, I think is worth mentioning. I did. I'll leave it at that. On that same note, I'd like to point out another thing. Sugar. You can store sugar and you can do all that, but if you're paying attention, if you're bargain shopping, I found this stuff. This is an artificial sweetener that is made from a combination of herbs and things. It's not the chemist sat down and mixed up some shit and said, here, stick this in your body. This is from natural products that just happens to have a sweetening effect. But this stuff was like, originally when I found this, it was almost $7 for a bottle. And then they put it on sale for like $5 and some change, and I finally said, okay, I'm going to try this. This works. The equivalency of 150 packets in a bottle I thought was very nice. It was natural. It's easy. It's something that you could put in your bag. If you're on the move, you're carrying an awful lot in an awful small, compact method. Problem is the expense. Well, they put it on clearance. When I went and asked them about it, the manager said you can have them for $1 a bottle. And so I grabbed 10. So now I have 10 of these as just a nice cheap stock item for sugar. And if you like sugar in your coffee, it's a damn nice thing to have. I thought I'd mention it. Another thought that came up in some discussions is get a bucket toilet seat. They're only about $12-13 bucks. If you're going to have 400 rolls of toilet paper in a house where the sewage and the water isn't working, where you can't poop in your own house because you can't have it sitting there stinking the place up because the toilets don't work, the first thing that you're going to have to do is shift your biologicals to the outdoors. If you think that you're going to take a wrench to your toilet and take the toilet lid seat off and put it on a on a 5-gallon bucket, provided you have one sitting around, you're going to be quickly disabused as to how that idea is not going to work. You are going to find yourself sliding and falling. And for the basic convenience for 12 or 15 bucks to have a toilet lid seat set up for a 5-gallon bucket, I can only say, get one. You will have no idea how much you would appreciate having that. Having done a lot of camping, I can tell you it's a lot nicer. I'll leave it at that. 55-gallon drums, 2. If you get anything, think about this. They have to be food grade. They have to be water potable. They have to be clean, new. Some places they sell these at Walmart and Lowe's, some they don't. If you can get 2, if it costs you 70, 80 bucks, 90 bucks, whatever it is, up to 100, if you can snag them, it's probably the most important thing you can get. Because when Hurricane Sandy hits and takes things out, and all the electric's down, and the water pumps can't pump water up, having 110 gallons on demand, because you were able to fill your containers while there was still water in the gravity-fed water system, puts you 110 gallons ahead of everybody else who's still taking showers and flushing the toilet, not realizing how the infrastructure works. And then all of a sudden, they have no water. And they realize that case of 21 bottles or 24 bottles of water doesn't last very long. And then they're in trouble. That's the value of the 55-gallon drums. Just thought I would mention it. I got a note here about quality. Just as a note, on items that are critical, if it's your gun, make sure your gun's reliable. If it's your ammunition, try to make sure you're not going for the cheapest crap you can find to get volume. Balance that with the best quality you can afford. Flashlights. These are the Sidewinder flashlights. They're mil-spec. They have a ton of little options. They're LED. This one here is the second one. I've got the one that's got the manual base that you can hold. But this one has an attachment for mall gear. And this attachment, when used as such, now gives you hands-free. Having done years and years of camping, I had bought and I don't know, I actually bought it at Cabela, but it was 4 LEDs and a headlamp with 3 batteries in the back, and it was the most valuable tool I had when I was camping for no other reason than it kept my hands free. And it went 8 years camping duty, and then it was used 5 years of my job because I was working in areas where I needed my hands free, and I was using it, and it finally failed due to battery corrosion because it ran 10 years on those same sets of batteries. I found that amazing, and so I wanted to duplicate it at a mil-spec level so that so long as I have this, it's not going to break, it's going to last damn near forever, it's the highest quality, and it's partnered to back it up. So this gives me both options, because if the lights are out, these are going to be very important. But as I said, analysis, when you think about this, think it all the way through. I also bought a 24-pack of these batteries, and they have a shelf life of up to 10 years. So I've covered myself in spades so that if nothing else, I will have better lighting in a grid down situation, if you will. I've covered it all the way through. My investment's done, and I'm golden. On the same note, you can get these, and if you will note, this is all LED with this, and this cost me $4.97. I bought 2. These things float. They're damn near indestructible. Because they're LEDs, they're going to last a long time. Because they are big, you can find it. The lights go out right now. Finding this in the dark, as small as it is, as opposed to finding this in the dark when I know where I put these, because these are actually placed in certain areas. One's over the fireplace, and that's for upstairs, and this one I have yet to do because I know to reach forward to get to my light, but it's a backup. But for $10, I bought a hell of a lot of lighting and backup. Why? Lighting is going to be so critically important. Water filtration, water storage, pooping, wiping, food, and lighting, and guns and ammunition to defend it. These are absolutes. These are the critical items. If they break and they're not redundant, it doesn't matter the rest of your preps. It just doesn't matter. Priority, quality, think it through. Make sure you have an entire solution from start to finish. Don't just get a flashlight. Get a flashlight with rechargeable batteries or a good battery stock, etc., etc., etc. I was actually communicating with Mr. Beams. They've got a 4 double D LED lantern with a USB charging port, and I've seen the product work. I've actually ordered it. I'm waiting for it to show up. And I said, I even emailed him. I said, listen, your product looks like it's really nice. I've ordered one, but you missed your market, because if you would have put a solar collector on the top and used rechargeable batteries, now if you take this camping, you set it outside during the day, and when night comes, you have a lantern ready to go through the night, and it continues on and on and on and on and on and on and on for years, because it's designed right. They actually sent that to their development team and said, hey, he's got a point. I look for these items, and I'm looking for the quality. I'm looking for something that if it breaks, I'm out. And I'm also looking at redundancy, so you can see where the lighting, the ability to keep it going, these are all critical things. What else? Potatoes. I don't have an answer for this. Let me explain this. We were talking about food stocks in my other video, where until you start collecting the byproduct of your consumption, you don't realize what you're going through and the speed with which you're going through. And I'm pretty frugal with what I do, how I do, but I still collect all of it, because I can buy in bulk and use these to repurpose. I use these for thousands of things, and I keep cleaning them out, and I keep collecting them, and they're great for a lot of things. But a byproduct is when I started realizing how many. When you do this for 3 months, you once you get the habit of collecting eggshells and collecting lint and collecting egg cartons and collecting the reusable bottles, the plastic ones, the cans, everything. I've got a room where I've got, I want to say, 400, 500 rinsed out bottles. We use them for target practice when we go shoot. You'd be surprised at how much. Retask, repurpose, pay attention. Potatoes. Long way to get to it. But, so one of the things that I was thinking about is that food's going to run out faster than I realize. I cannot store years and years of food. When that runs out, how long do I have to get a garden up? In my area, there will be no hunting, because they will hunt this place clean before I even get through my food. There will be too many people out there with guns trying to hunt for food that will shoot you for your kill. It caused a problem, so I said, well, what about the garden? Well, we can work on the garden. Question: what is one of the best things that you can have in a garden in a bad situation? And my thoughts went to the Irish. When the Irish went through the drought and the devastation that they went through, potatoes were the magic that got the Irish through their problems. And when the immigrants came here to the States, they brought with them potatoes, because they understood the value of all plants, the potato was what got them through everything. And I'm sitting there going, okay, potatoes. Do I got potato seeds? Stupid. There's no such thing as potato seeds. When you start going out and you start doing your homework, you find out in order to do potatoes, you take a potato, you cut it up, and they grow potatoes. So, what is your long-term storage for something that goes bad regularly? How do you deal with this? What if the lights go out right now and we start a 6-month dark ages? I don't have any potatoes in the house. I would be without potatoes. How fast could I get to the grocery store and try to buy potatoes along with 12,000 other people? And what are the chances of me getting them? So I actually went out to Idaho to somebody I knew, reached out to them and said, hey, how do you plant 100 acres of potatoes? She thought it was a joke. And I said, no, it's a very serious question. How do you do it? She said, well, you have to have starter potatoes. And I said, interesting. I said, so how do you do this? I don't have an answer for it. I'm putting it out there, and if anybody's got suggestions, because I know that potatoes go bad. And unless you keep buying potatoes just to have some on hand, root cellars and all that, yes, you know, you can do it. But I like a iron ball approach. I set it, I forget it, and I know I've got it. I can't do that with potatoes. Found that very interesting. I'm still working on the problem. I've been working on this for a month, and I don't have a solution. Another thing that I found out. Okay, so we all know about this. This isn't a number 10 can. This is, I don't know what they call this. It's a slightly smaller one. I got this because this is from everything that I've read, this is probably the best powdered milk possible. It's really, really close to good milk when you get this mixed back up. So I've got a very big can of this. And the idea being that most of the recipes for most of the stored food still requires dairy products, milk. So powdered milk and powdered butter and powdered eggs are essential to most of the food that you really are going to be trying to make. And without it, it's going to suck. I wanted a solution, long-term solution. Set it, forget it. Everything works beautifully. Well, I'm going through it, and like I said, take it all the way through. And the next thing that I did is I said, let me get a smaller one. Let me take this, and let me take some powdered butter, and let me take some powdered eggs, and let me start making my food with it, and let me find out what the quality is going to be like. Let me see what kind of problems I run into. Well, ironically, for my example, this has a lid. You know, I went and checked, and I've gotten number 10 cans of bread, pancake mix, biscuits, because there's going to be no bread. And so I needed something, you know, I can buy a bag of flour, I can do this, I can do that, but that only stores so long. This good old 10, 15 years, I'm covered for quite a while. I like this solution better, so I wanted to learn about all of it. So one thing that I found real quickly is if that you are doing number 10 cans of Mountain House, and you're doing all this, and you're like got a whole wall of that stuff. I've seen these guys that talk about it, and they order it and all that, but you know what they miss? And this is the part that really kind of irks the hell out of me, that everybody's missed this. The lid. Right now it is currently 85% humidity. It's raining outside. That means humidity. What happens when humidity hits a drink mix? You've all seen it. I could probably go pull one out. You see what happens when moisture gets to it. Now you've opened up a number 10 can of milk. You need this to last for a month. And suddenly you realize you ain't got a damn lid. I don't have the lids yet, but I've found the problem, and I said, oh man, wouldn't that suck to open this up, use this much every 2 days, and find out that this much got wasted because you didn't have one of these? Really? Talk about a failure in the food planning system. I don't have the answer yet, because will these lids seal enough to keep that moisture out? my experience has been no, it doesn't. And if you're not consuming this very fast, in which case you're going to go through your stock really quick, once you open it, because of the size and the quantity of number 10 cans, it introduced that problem. I am thinking maybe cheap stainless steel airtight canisters, and have those stocked and set with the food storage, so that if I do break one open, I know that I'm probably going to have one of butter, one of milk, one of eggs, because these are the extra ingredients required in all the food mixes. So you need a little here for this recipe, the next day you're going to need a little. These canisters would work pretty good. If I open up a number 10 can of mac and cheese, everybody's eating mac and cheese until the can's done. I can work through it fairly quick, and in most cases I can work through that. But if it's a can of mozzarella, or if it's a can of, you know, certain things that are only used with certain meals, it just wouldn't make sense to apply it anywhere else. What is your solution for that? I'm bringing the point up. Nobody mentioned this, and it kind of, like I said, it pisses me off. Something else, and this is going to seem minor and it's going to seem stupid, but I'm going to explain to you just how much I believe in quality and reviewing and thinking things through. We had fairly decent weather a couple weeks back, and I'd left the door open, and we let the dogs out, and I wanted the dogs to be able to come in and out. So I left the door open. It was a nice day, air the house out, everything's beautiful. But I had a problem. Flies flew in by the millions, it seemed like. There were flies everywhere, and I couldn't even sit here and work. I had flies flying around. Okay, so got a fly swatter. We had 4. We had 1, and then we picked up a 3-pack. Now we went cheap and just got, quality, really. In one day, I broke all 3 because of flies, and they had aggravated me, and snap, broke it. Went through 3 in one day. The next level El Cheapo is holding up, but in cold weather, that plastic is going to snap. If things are bad and the air conditioning's not running, bugs are going to be a problem at some point. If it's in the winter, you're going to have the doors closed trying to conserve heat. But at any other time, in the summer, spring, and fall, you're going to have the windows open. And when you have the windows open, you're going to have bugs. And when you have bugs, you better have a solution for bugs. And nobody seems to have mentioned that one either. You're going to be more in a camping environment than you are in a regular environment, but you're going to have some ability. You don't want flies everywhere. You don't want to be looking like a third world African child from UNICEF on a commercial. So what is my point? Aha. They make a leather fly swatter. May I recommend you pick one up? I have been waiting to do this video until it showed up, because a leather fly swatter will last the rest of your life. It's one-time purchase, as opposed to getting a 3-pack that lasts a day, many times, the plastic one that isn't going to work. And flies are going to be a problem. Bugs are going to be a problem. Having a fly swatter is just going to be one of those nice tools. And I think that you're going to find that they'll quickly become high demand items, because I know when I broke those 3, I have no mercy for flies. They are a pestilence, and I cannot stand them. And my leather Amish-made freaking fly swatter is going to show up, and because it's quality, it's going to last the rest of my life. Use your money wisely. I would add to that bug nets. It might be really nice if you have to leave the windows open because it's 89 degrees or 92 degrees in the middle of the night in the summer, because the electric's out and you at least need the breeze. With the breeze comes the bugs. And if you think you're going to sleep in the outdoors and not have problems with bugs, you're crazy. Get a couple of head naps, so at least when you go to sleep, you don't have bugs flying up your nose and in your mouth, waking you up all through the night. Bug control. It's not just bug spray. And that's the last of my tips. Thanks for listening.